314. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Bruce Heinsius, and you are the creator of all those great photos behind you. You are the man of the photographer of the Power Rangers. So actually, you are kind of like a Power Rangers, but you are the photographer ranger.
Power Ranger photographer, yes. Original photographer for the Power Rangers.
Now, I'm going to ask you some easy questions, some hard-hitting ones. But let's talk about the artwork you have, because this is a special short half-hour interview.
Right. Okay, well, what do you want to know? I mean, these are my pictures that I took on the film set of the Power Rangers the first season. And I blew them up to, I think, 20 by 30. And I showed them off at the Power Ranger convention called Power Morphicon. I have a booth where I show off my pictures at the Power Ranger convention. So I wanted to give make them bigger. I also show them off on digital photo frames that change the pictures every 5 seconds. But they're, usually about this big. But this has more impact.
Oh, absolutely. They look amazing.
Thank you. Now the far, let's see, what would that be? That one over there.
It would be the far left.
Okay.
That would be your right.
I can't tell. But anyway, yeah, that's a shot of me jumping over some cosplayers who were at the Power Morphicon convention. And yeah, I never thought I'd accomplish the, actually jumping over all six Rangers. Yeah. So that was the money shot that I never thought I would accomplish. Because I do, when I worked on the Power Rangers set, I work with the stunt guys a lot, and they kept on saying, hey, can you get a shot of me doing this flying kick? So eventually I started getting interested to try that kick, and I got really, really good at it. Getting the form right and everything. Right. So I have an ongoing project of doing flying kicks. Wherever I go, like if I'm on the Great Wall of China, I took a picture of me doing a flying kick. I did it at Big Ben in England, London. And sometimes I try to do it with celebrities if I can, famous people. And so I have actually had several Power Rangers that posed with me while I did a flying kick at them. So it's an ongoing project that I enjoy doing, and I plan to keep doing it. I'm about to turn 53 in about 2 days. And I take pride that even at that age, I can still keep on kicking.
Hey, it's just a number. It's as long as you're healthy, doing what you love, doesn't matter how old you are.
Well, yes, that's true. Age tends to be more of a number than what's the reality of what we can do. I mean, sometimes it takes its toll, but when people say act your age, well, my age, even if I'm 52 or 53, is my version of that age. So I don't have to act like somebody else is 52 or 53.
No, absolutely. And now for people who want to see our very first interview that we did, that's going back this June will be officially my 4th anniversary of the Keith Andrew Network. And actually, if you look at Keith Andrew Network brand, it's been around for 7 years. The talk show portion of it will be officially around 4 years. With that being said, you were one of my favorite guests, and I liked it, and that's why you're back on the show 3.5 years later. As you remembered, our interview started from the phone, so basically what you saw on a reflection, that's what you saw. Now, if you saw my recent work, it's Skype recorder, so cut everything off the sides. It looks more like Fox News, CNN, so it really improved over the 3.5, almost 4 years.
And I think the lighting that you're doing on yourself is a lot better.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a slow learner, and I do take. You have to take the goods with the bads.
Yeah, well, that's part of the deal. It's like you could just turn the camera on and say, "Here I am," or you can say, "Hey, I'm going to put a light on my face and make sure I look good."
No, absolutely. And to be honest, and for everyone, I am now playing all 100 interviews on my KeithAndrewNetWork. Right now, we're playing episode 4, which is Richard Epcar. I'm working on getting him to be a guest on my brand new HD format. Still working on the studio, but right now it's HD format as it is. And when you get to see the quality, from the phone, as I was showing you, this was all season 1. What you see the reflection, that's what season 1 was. And I really didn't want to be seeing. And season 2, I'm like, okay, well, if people want to take my talk show seriously, maybe I should be seen. So season 2 was basically the same thing like season 1. Here's the camera, and the camera will see what you see. And, my brother told me about a Skype recorder, and now it's basically like Fox News, CNN. And a lot of people saying to me, why didn't you do this from the beginning? I could have, maybe I should have, but you wouldn't have seen the transition. I wanted to show you, the struggle that I had to do, from the phone, from the computer screen, to now Skype recorder, to now working on getting in a studio. You see, over the 3 years, yes, there's different introductions, there's different special effects, there's different aspects to it. But now when you look at it, you say, well, I think this is really good. I think you came a long way in those 3.5 years.
Absolutely. Like when you watch the old Star Wars films, it's like, I think they still look great even today. But, visually from the special effects and everything, it's come a long way. When you see the newer films, whether they're arguably not as good, but the special effects are just, light years ahead. Well, not literally, but a lot better.
Absolutely. We're going to take
So that's kind of how you're in your journey of working on your interview format. So you keep on oiling it and making it look better, tweaking it, doing better lighting. So good for you.
No, absolutely. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I'm going to ask you some hard-hitting questions.
Okay.
A message for yourself or as a gift for someone else. For personal connections, shout-outs, birthdays, proposals, weddings, and much more. Enter your details about yourself so the celebrity can record a personal video message especially for you, including details such as your name, age, birthday, hobbies, or whatever else you include. As soon as the video has been recorded, you'll get an email with your link so you can share it on social media or download and keep it. Celebrities record videos as and when they can, usually within 2 weeks. But if you want a video for a specific date and it does not look like it will arrive in time, you can cancel it and get an instant refund at the click of a button. There are hundreds of celebrities to choose from and many more joining every day. Search by category or genre, buy a gift voucher, get updates and offers, and encourage your favorite celebrities to join so they can connect with fans in a fun and unique way. Raise money for their charities and much more. So order your video now for yourself or for someone else.
I'm so bored.
Want to see something really cool?
Yeah!
Now you'll never be bored again with Loot Crate, a totally bodacious mystery box packed with awesome toys, radical games, and other surprises. And the best part is, you can get Loot Crate delivered right to your door. So don't delay. Ask your parents and order today.
Everything okay in there? Yeah, everything great. I love Loot Crate.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 314. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Bruce Heinsius. And the first thing we're going to talk about is those pictures. You have 5 pictures behind you. And what can you tell us the stories of each one of them?
Well, I already told the story about the one on top over on the left, you said.
Yes.
And so, yeah, that's me doing a flying kick over Power Ranger cosplayers. But the rest of the pictures are the original cast of the original season of Power Rangers back in 1993. So over here, we have them taking off their helmets, so you can actually see they actually had the original cast in the costumes. And they shot scenes that first season with the helmets on, And they didn't really have a lot of extras to get into the helmets. Sometimes they did that, but sometimes the original cast actually put their heads in those sweaty helmets and did a little bit of suffering for us, you know? So there we go. That's actually Jason David Franks doing what's called a back stance with a knife hand defense. And I always liked that pose where he's leaning back on one leg and he's kind of got his feet in kind of like an L kind of a form. And I don't know, I've used that kind of pose a lot when I direct cosplayers because I do a lot of cosplay photography these days at conventions. Yeah, there we have. Those aren't the original cast in the costume over there. Those were extras. You can even see that the Yellow Ranger is not a female, which it should be in the American version.
Right.
And that one over there, am I pointing? Yeah, okay, I'm pointing right. That one was shot against a green screen, but I also had some picture of the set itself, just the set, the wall. So I edited it in Photoshop to make it look like they were really sitting inside with that background. Well, that's
now,
pretty
the
much.
two questions I'm going to ask you now is, one, what is your honest opinion about the new movie coming out? Do you like it or hate it? And
Well, I've only seen the trailer, so I'll base it on that, right?
right.
I think it's really on a different level now because they took a lot of the campy, low-budget stuff and made it on a higher level. So I think the production value is really going to shine. The costumes, they're not just like a red helmet. It's a red helmet with like swirls in it and textures and stuff. So I think that looks really, really a nice direction, you know, without changing too much. I do like that they have powers, you know, that they don't have to just rely on the costumes. Once they had the something happen in a cave where they got their powers,
Yeah.
they, even though when they're looking like ordinary teenagers, they are stronger, they can jump far and have all sorts of powers that they didn't have in the original series, which I think is cool, you know. And sometimes they made a little bit of liberties on the designs. In some ways it was favorable in my opinion. Sometimes the designs are, I don't know, I'm not digging some of the designs.
Yeah, I really don't like how the pink and yellow will basically look the same. It's like, well, what happened to the saber-toothed tiger? Why is the Yellow Ranger having a pterodactyl? It's like, do you guys like gave up halfway?
I didn't know which dinosaurs they have, but I also wanted to point out a little thing that when they made the Power Rangers, they made a few mistakes on the creatures. When you see the power coins,
Yeah.
there's two coins that are not really the creatures that they call out when they call out their animal power. In the case of the mastodon, if you look at the coin, it looks like a woolly mammoth, which it was in the Japanese version of the Power Rangers before it came to America. So they got that wrong a little bit. For some reason, they felt like saying woolly mammoth just is not exciting as saying mastodon. So, and then the other one is pterodactyl. If you look at the head of the pterodactyl on the helmet, it has a kind of a point behind the head. So that would mean it's not a pterodactyl, it's a pteranodon. So, you know, they actually got that wrong. But I don't know, I think pteranodon sounds pretty cool.
It does.
Yeah. So one of the projects I'm doing, by the way, is I've made a couple of documentaries that are, in one case, still in the making. Where the first documentary I made for the Power Rangers is footage that I shot video of while I was doing the still photography. I shot some video that was 24 years ago or so, 1993, and I edited it together so fans can really see what it felt like to be on the set.
If I may.
Yes.
You know, it's funny that you should mention that. Was my next question for you. There was the footage of people being, maybe that's your video that you're hinting towards, where you see them sitting in the classrooms and you're filming. Is that the same video we're talking about, or is it something else?
Classroom? Well, there is a moment where they're in a classroom. But,
did Trini hurt her leg?
Say again?
Like, there's a part where Trini is sitting there and she said she hurt her leg, and Billy said, "Oh yeah, I punched her in the leg," and there's a love scene. But
No.
there's everyone showing the extras. I have to send you the link. It's really good. It's called
Okay.
Power Rangers Behind the Scenes, where they're basically saying, "Oh, there's the command center, and over here you see here's Lord Zed's lookout in his chair."
Well, I didn't work on it when Lord Zed was there. I was only there the first season. But the second documentary has some of that same kind of footage from, but I edited it into cutting with interviews that I did last year of several of the Power Rangers. I had them come over my place, and I shot them against a nice background and asked them some really nice questions for the fans to hear. So I'm really proud about that, and it's coming along really well. It looks good.
No, absolutely. And it's funny that I recently got an email from Jason Garvey, who did Skull from Power Rangers.
Oh,
And
Jason Harvey, yes.
And I thought it's funny that it took a year and a half later for him to answer back, but I know you guys are really busy. And it's like, "Hey, did you still want to do the interview?" And I said, "Who the hell is David Garvey?" And I looked him up. Oh, yeah, definitely. Power Rangers. Yes, I remember now. Yeah, I definitely.
No, it's called, his name is Jason Narvey.
Ah.
He played Skull, the skinnier guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, get the name right.
Pardon my wording
deserves it.
disability.
Yeah, I had Jason Narvey on my part of my interview, but he couldn't make it in time for the convention for me to interview him in my place.
Right.
So Paul Schreier, who plays Bulk, he came over my place and said, "I've arranged for Jason Narvey to be on my phone, and we can just have his picture on my phone, the video, while we do the interview together." So it worked out.
No, he's another one. I tried pretty much all of them, except for Karen Ashley and the other one. I'm not really big fans of them. Wrong story. But, I tried reaching out to all of them one time or another. And some said yes, some said no. And, and Paul was one of them. He said he didn't want to do it. But seeing that, maybe Jason Narvey will be a guest now, and you're doing this for a second time, maybe that will convince them, saying, "Well, if my friends can do it, I can do it too." I would love to have Bulk and Skull on the show. As you know, I talked to Kerrigan Mayhem. He's a great guy. Working on.
I may not know some of these names because I just worked on the first season.
Oh, and his first season, he did Goldar.
Well, what did he do? Because
Goldar.
he did the voice, right?
Yeah, he did the voice of Goldar.
Right, so I didn't have to deal with that since the voice part wasn't for me to take pictures of, really.
Okay.
But yeah.
What about Alpha 5? Did he ever talk to her?
Yeah. I didn't interview her, but I believe she's local to Los Angeles, and she did display interest for me to interview her. I just haven't got around to that yet.
No, absolutely. I reached out to her too. And,
Do you remember her name?
Not off the top of my head.
Well, it's right here. Romy Sharf.
Yeah, Romy Shar. I think that was her.
Yes. Well, she was the first season, yes.
I think it was her. I just remember her in the outfit and she's holding the helmet.
Right.
And I remember I invited her to be on the show, and we're all set. And as you know, everyone who I interview has to sign a permission form. Basically, the permission form is I introduce myself, I tell you what the show is about, and you agree to let me interview you. She didn't want to do it. She said, "I'd be on your show, and but I refuse to sign any permission forms." And I said, "Well, I'm going to be honest with you, but I don't want to do the interview." And I said, "This is because," and I told her why. Because when I first started the interview, I was taking people at the words, and then slowly, but sorry, people, I don't mean to slur my words, I apologize for my disability. After time, people would say, "Yeah, my agent said, my publicist said, your interviews are really stupid. It's really degrading to be with people like you. Can you take it down?"
Right.
Oh, I talked to a lawyer senior advisor. He said, kind of write up a paper, introduce yourself, tell you what the show's about, and make sure that person agrees to let you have use of that interview. No reason to do a half hour, 45 minutes, just to have that person say, yeah, I want nothing to do with you.
Okay,
So
well,
she
it's not
didn't
for
want.
everybody. But yeah, we're here, and we're here to talk about some good things. I just had an offer for my photos that I took on the set. A company is making a book, a coffee table book about the Power Rangers in general,
Oh, nice.
and they are very interested in using my photos in this big book. That I don't know how much distribution, but it sounds like it's going to be a big definitive. They described it as a definitive Power Ranger coffee table book.
Now,
So
is that because of the movie coming out? Is everyone now taking a big interest in it, or was this before the movie?
I didn't ask them that question really, but I had a feeling that it was connected to that. But they do have plans to do more than one book because they told me that it's not just one book that they're planning to do. So, but yeah, it's good timing if they want to release it around the time. But I think they are far from done, ready to put the book out because we're
My,
still in negotiations of the pictures of, from first season.
oh, absolutely. My honest opinion of it, it's basically the new movie. Is first off, there's no Asian people in it. You didn't want to do the stereotype, make the Black Ranger black and make the Yellow Ranger yellow, even though you would be paying respect to the original American version of it.
That would have been nice.
Yeah, and then it was the second one, and then the helmet design. Okay, you had the red, blue, and black. They look great, but yet it looks like for the pink and yellow, he didn't care, so he just did the same design on it. But it's basically, if you watch the trailer, it's about, if you've seen the Breakfast Club, it starts off the same exact way. The jock, the preppy girl, the nerd, and that's pretty, I think. No, there were no dancers. So you had the jock, you had the preppy girl, you had the social outcast, and it was basically, it's a modern day Breakfast Club.
Okay, nothing wrong with that.
No, and it's Breakfast Club. It's a classic, and eventually everyone's going to make their own variations of it. Some are gonna do it right, some are not.
Well, that's how most ideas are. Is they're usually not completely original. They say, let's take a little bit of this hit movie and mix it with that hit movie and make something unique on its own because it's together.
Did you see the part where Brian Cranston? I didn't really like Alpha 5 because it wasn't a robot; it was more alien. And to me, that's not Alpha 5. Alpha 5 is, it's a robot.
Or an android.
Or that too. That would be good. But what about Brian Cranston? Did you see that part where you see his face? I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I don't know. For a big budget thing, it seemed like a low budget approach, that anybody could really do that with those pins that you push your face onto. So, no. If you're going to get Brian Cranston, I'd rather see him more clearly.
No, absolutely. And now for people who want to know what what that image looks like, as you mentioned, big budget names, big budget films. Do you ever see? And this is for anyone out there. If you ever saw iRobot, where the villain Vicky has her face in the screen, and there's an other movie where I think Prometheus or something, where you see the hologram face. It's like you said, it's supposed to be a big budget film, and yet you're using something from another movie. It's kind of like, what is this? So it was good because yes, okay, darker, and it's gotta be like this. It's gotta be really good, and yet it hasn't even came out yet, and you see all the flaws in it, and I'm like, what happened to paying attention to details? I know I have a learning disability, but I can pay attention to details. This is kind of like, you start it, and then you're like, okay, you gave up halfway.
What do you think about the Megazord? They really revamped the look of him. What do you think?
It looks like a skinny Transformer.
Yeah, I think they should have stayed with some kind of a bulky, kind of a husky, kick-ass kind of a look. And I also don't like that the face. I mean, I didn't get a good look at him from the
Yeah.
trailers, but I like robots that have distinctive faces.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really, there's no personality there so far what I've seen.
No, he's pan face.
He's a what face?
Oh, he's pan face.
Why?
Because he has no face.
He doesn't have a face. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Well, maybe they'll reveal a face later. They didn't want to reveal that it looked like Donald Trump or something. Who knows?
That would be pretty funny. Speaking of taking a dumps, my good friend Kerrigan Mayhem was Bass in the Goldar character he played. What is your opinion about Goldar? He could have been great. He's one of the biggest, baddest people in the franchise, yet you just basically took a turd and you put gold on it. And you're like, okay, if it looks good, makes money, mass produce it. Just mass produce it.
Right.
Don't pay attention to details. I'm like, I don't know, the whole thing, it's kind of like, you want this to be good for the next generation. 2,
Right.
you want people to get behind it. But by disrespecting the normal original cast, even the Japanese version for that matter, you're disrespecting. It's like, why can't you just pay respect to the originals instead of just saying, we're going to make it up as we go?
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I've been visualizing that Goldar does, from what I've seen, look kind of lame and uninteresting. I was imagining him with like real shiny gold that the lights just sparkle off of, and really, make the gold bright. But it looks like they went for like a very dull finish.
Yeah.
But here I collect robots, and these are from old school, from the '60s, and
That are nice.
yeah, they have personality. You got a Trojan and an Egyptian. So if anybody knows what these are called, see if anybody can guess their names, or I'll tell you the next episode.
No, absolutely. I was going to show you something, but I don't have... Actually, I was in a retail store recently, and I got 2 of them. One's a collectible, and the other one I'm using. So this one is the collectible I have. It's basically just, the whole Power Ranger thing. You have everyone. You have the 5 on there. Plus, I have the ones box, too.
You have what?
Oh, the ones box.
Whoa.
But I think it's funny, you have the 5 in the middle and has all these different designs. But yet, in the upper corner, they have a little green smudge for the Green Ranger. So I was kind of like, okay, I guess you were just catering to the 5 and you felt bad when Jason Dave Frank wasn't in it. But, it's different. But wrapping up, was there anything you wanted to talk about? Anything you want to promote?
Let's see. That's a good question. Well, that's mainly, I think that pretty much does it for now. I'm sorry. I think
every interview's different.
Huh?
Every interview's different.
Yeah.
But wrapping up, I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But wrapping up, going on... So you talked to Hen, single from Bill Riley. So all rights go to the factor. So going on the record, when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show the first time, and being a guest on the second time, do you see a big difference? And what was your what's your reaction overall?
Well, I mentioned that the lighting is, you actually have a light shining on you, it looks like. So you really thought about that. And so that makes a big difference, actually. I can see you. And it looks more professional. And your set is starting to get together. It could use a little bit more thought and put the pillow a little bit straighter or something. Let's see. Am I one to talk? I guess so.
Well, you have a nice place. I'm still working on getting my own studio. Unfortunately, I'm at home and I share my room.
Like, I think I see a picture at the top of the frame that might... I don't know if it's Power Rangers or what it is, but...
Oh, that's, I had that from my brother.
Oh, okay.
Well, 20 years ago, that's Bishop.
Well, yeah, put some stuff against that blank wall and, give us our eyes something to look at while we're talking to you. That'd be good.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I was
And,
thinking about getting like a little standee, have my poster here, and then
right.
getting a little table here where I
Yeah.
can display my belt. Like I said, it's a work in progress. It isn't going to be, like that.
Well, you're welcome to take any ideas that if you think I did something right here, go ahead. I don't have any like what do you call it? Any copyright on these ideas. They're there for anybody. But yeah, no, and the first interview we did was actually just audio. So the second interview we did was video, and this is better video.
No, absolutely. Now, stay tuned for after the show. I do have a couple questions, but wrapping up, how can people follow you on social media? Are you on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram?
I'm on Instagram. I think it's Brucer007. So that's Bruce with an R and 007. And I'm on Facebook. And my photography website is bruceheinsiusimages.com. That's one of my websites anyway. I also have images on cosplay.com. Almost 800. It's 799 images I posted on cosplay.com. And you look for Brucer007 again. Yeah. So, yeah. And my pictures are out there. You can Google my name and see a lot of fun action photos. I like martial arts and getting people in motion.
No, absolutely. Now, wrapping up your segment, like I said, I do have a couple questions for you off the air, but wrapping up your interview segment, it was a real honor and privilege to have you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to part 3.
Right? Me too.